Okay, this is a quick video on trading sympathy plays, and the ones that we're trading today were the GME, the KOSS, the EXPR, and AMC. Not so much on the AMC; it didn't really do much today. But let's talk about GME. This thing, sold off to $41 from $500, and this is where one of the guys, and I forget what his name is, was subpoenaed and had to stand in front of Congress and explain his actions. And he said he was doubling down and bought at 38. And then it traded sideways for a couple of days, then boom, off it took away and pulled back. And then it really just got into this rising channel, and away it went. But today in particular, it really started to go. Now it's a big bearish engulfing bar, but it really started to go. And it was in this big rising channel here like this. Now I'm going to talk about this sell-off in a second. So when it started to go like that, I said, here, watch this over 30. And it should go. And I actually took the trade, popped, flagged, and then popped again. But then it got into this big basing channel. But you can see how quickly these can go. So, over 30, we were watching GME. The GME popped. Well, let's see what time GME popped. This is 11:30. At 11:30, this started to go. It was in this basing pattern, broke out, pulled back, held support, and then at 11:30 it started to go. So, and this coincided with the KOSS popping at 11:30 as well. So, and it really started to go. So I saw that, and I saw that was going to get a squeeze. So we alerted it, took the trade, and away it went. Now the AMC, it never really got going, so we're not going to really talk about it except on the downside. But EXPR was another one of these ones. This didn't really pop per se at 11:30. It did a little bit, but it was in this more of a rising channel because they had earnings out. But I did take at the 445 area. I did take it and said that, watch this to go. It's going to run into trouble at 465 and 485. But once it got through that, it did get really spiked up. Here's your long candle up, and the next candle's red. You need to get out of that trade. It also coincided with the big sell-off. So this was, the sympathy trade. It's not spiking like the KOSS because it has more stock, and this is a thinly traded, or this is a low float stock. So we caught this move. We caught the EXPR move. Okay, now, but then, and so this one was a grinding trade higher. And so I'm watching GME the whole time to ensure that GME is continuing to go higher, because I don't want to be in these stocks if GME is failing. We see here on this candle here at 12:20, the GME starts to fail. There's this is the 12:20 candle here on EXPR. And that's the 12:20 candle on the KOSS. So we see GME starts to fail 12:20 and starts to break this channel line. Now this doesn't look so impressive, but this is a $10-15 move in an instant, and then it really starts to accelerate. Right at this time, what did I write? Let me just see. At 12:20, I write exit out of EXPR as GME sells off. So right here, I wrote get out of this stock. So you just have to, when you start to see that, you just have to exit the positions at market. when the main stock starts to sell off. Now on this one, we were lucky because this is the 1220 candle. And the point I want to make here is it took a while for the market to recognize that this was happening here. This candle here is the same time frame as this candle here. So we were ahead of the curve slightly. Big long wick up, closes near the bottom, next candle's red. You need to get out of that trade. But on this candle here, so we were lucky that we got out of that stock ahead of the crowd because we were quick to the draw and the go. So whenever you see the sympathy or the main trade going, you're going to have a bit of time, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to act, maybe as much as a minute to act, because they're maybe not watching it, or they're not thinking, okay, it's just going to hold the trend line here and we'll see. But it didn't. It just absolutely got crushed down to 170. So a 50% pullback from 350 to 175 in an instant. These are 2-minute candles, but they're probably instant drop, halt, instant drop, halt, instant drop, halt. You have no chance of getting out of that stock. KOSS. We can see on the KOSS, this is the 1220 candle here. And so when it started to come off, same thing. You had to just get out of that stock. I was out of it much before that because I didn't like the way this was flagging in here. Big distribution pattern. So I didn't have to worry about the sell-off. But it's the same thing. As soon as you see this coincides with the GME, you need to get out of that trade. And sure enough, drop from 40 to 22, close to 50%. So that's just you always have to keep, and I had an eye on the GME. You always have to keep an eye on the main play. Now I wasn't trading GME because it's a $360 stock, and I don't really want to trade $360 stocks. But I'm happy to trade the $30 stock and the $5 stock to in sympathy with it. But as soon as it started to break down, you just have to exit the other trades at market, get rid of it, or hit your panic button, 20-cent limit or something, 20 cent to the downside limit,